Hmm. Hello. Hello, my name is Dr. Brenda Jean Power, and the doctor represents metaphysics, so the nature of being. We're going to talk about today is your soul's urge. Why do some people go down this path? Why do some people, you know, don't? And that's the beauty of the variety of what we get to choose in life, what we get to do with our life. But there is this urge, and a lot of people have this particular urge, which will set you apart from other people. It's not about being better, it's just this feeling, and it will pull you, and that's your soul. Your soul is tugging at you so that you can get into the space of resolving to evolve so that you can return home. So, Medicine Woman's Solution, and it's Soultion, has a solution. So, your soul has the solution, and the soul, you can begin to feel it. And this is like some people say, well, some people are gifted to have the feeling and some are, and that's not true. We all do. It's just where is you, the you, where are you aiming? I used to run around and feel awful all the time, so focused on what I've lost, what I can't have, where my status is in life, what I don't have to wear, what food I don't have to eat. Because when I grew up, we were pretty much poor, but then we were also pretty average, you know. And I didn't know until you get picked on because you keep wearing the same clothes at school, or you wear your bigger sister's clothes and they don't quite fit. And then when you start to use your gift of awareness, you don't realize you're like, you can see people getting picked on. Now, this is where you can decide that you want to mimic and copy, and what do I want to be? Do I want to be like them? Do I don't want to be like them? And my heart could not let me be like how people were picking on each other. And it'd kind of be, I could feel this hurt. I could feel how they could feel. Of course, didn't know any of this stuff when I was little. But as I got older, it was like, I don't like feeling this way all the time. I feel so bad. I feel so, I know what they're feeling. And in personal relationships, if there was going to be a fight, I already lost before I began because I already knew where this was going. I could see the bigger picture. I could see, like, I understood what they were saying. I understood their point of view. And it's not that it made mine mute. It's just I also was paired up with gaslighters, with their ability to communicate and to win. And I had grown up quite a bit in my life where it was passive or aggressive. And people, sometimes look at those words and go, oh, God, passive aggressive people, or they're aggressive people, or people that are passive. And everybody's got a judgment on these states. Well, for me, when you've been beat down, you have to go into survival mode, which everybody does. And my survival mode wasn't about good, bad, or indifferent. It was about survival. So that's that very important point where everybody starts out. And some people will brag, I got street skills, I have this skills, I have that. But what I didn't notice until I got older was we really don't know how to resolve to evolve. We really don't know how to cope, handle, deal, manage, pacify. And we don't need to do those things because the body comes with equipped with helping you do the very thing that you want to do, which is to process whatever event that you may be going through. And when you process this event, there's some clarity and some wisdom behind it. You with me so far? So, all my life, I'm just an average kid until one day I've had enough. Thank you. I had enough. Have you ever been to that point where you're enough's enough? I can't do it anymore. Well, there's a certain part of you that will do a declaration and then you'll stand up and stop being passive. Now, I've had incidents in my life where I chose passivity because it was either scared into me, put the devil in you type thing, put the fear in you. But that's survival. You're different than your survival. You may be, I hear a sound again outside, so it's got to be one of my phones. You are more than just that talk inside of you that says, danger, danger, and then reread and say, this is what it's going to be, even if it's not. Our brain is such a marvelous piece that comes with this body. And this brain, as you learn and you absorb and the brain goes over and over. 1 + 1 is this. This and this is this. And after a while, enough times, it says, oh, I've learned that part. So it makes it efficient, and then you don't have to learn it again. Then the next part, 1 + 1, oh, no, that's not right. The brain says error, recorrects, figures out. So it's fine tuning. And then once it's fired and wired and learned it, that collapses down and becomes efficiency. So there are certain things you do not have to learn again because you have learned them. So there are a lot of things that we've learned as we grew up that we don't even realize that we have to unlearn. It served a purpose. It did what it was supposed to do. And we need to unlearn it. Now, when the soul begins to have this urge, you know that there's more to life than life. Somebody asks you how you doing, you're like, I'm good. Either you don't want people to know or you really don't know yourself. But as soon as I leave, you go into automatic pilot of complaining, of being upset or gossiping or drama. And that is so unhealthy for the brain as well as the body, because we store all this in the body. And it messes with the energy fields. Okay? It messes with the energy fields, which can cause you to be sick, which can cause you to, be too anxiety, emotions. So what is a person supposed to do? And we just are still not used to that we have tools that we can tune to. How we cope and deal with life. Everybody deals with life. Everybody copes with life. Everybody manages with life, pacifies by going outside yourself. Is it whether you cling to a person and you become extra needy, or you learn that somebody needs to be there for you because you don't have confidence, or you just need that extra hand, but then you turn to food, you turn to TV watching, you turn to alcohol, you turn to drugs, and it's like, oh, why do we have to look at some stuff that's good and have it be bad? Well, eat a bowl of cherries, and I'm not talking about one, but eat a big bowl of cherries, it's going to cause you the diarrhea. So is that really the cherry's fault? So when you are in this moment of addiction of whatever it is that you're consuming from the outside, you can't live without it. Okay. Now, I will say to Angela, DJ's present, because as I look up, somebody said DJ. So just let you know, DJ's here. But as I would be sitting there going, oh my God, how's your life? Oh, everything's great, stress of the house, stress of the kids, stress of, all of these things, stress whether I'm being a good mother, stress, that I could be happy. And humans all go through these things, go through all the range of emotions. People go through this, okay? But does anybody really understand that they can't process? What are you talking about? I processed. But did you process in a very unhealthy way? So if you did, then let's say you have addiction to something, and may not be a big thing, no big deal, but it keeps you focused on trying to survive. So the moment that thing, the thing that you're trying to consume or to take your mind off of what you can't really process, because you don't want to think about it, you don't want to feel it, you don't know how to make it stop. So I remember that after I was molested at 7, I didn't want anybody to know what had happened to me. And I can't tell you why. I just know that that's the choice I made. I was scared. I suppressed my willpower. I didn't want to think it, because when you go through something horrific, your 41 thoughts per minute go into high beta, and it triples and doubles. We don't know exactly, except for it depends on the amount of stress, how often you drive yourself farther into this particular thing. Do you understand? And so you don't want to feel it. So hashtag feel it to heal it is what I use. You don't want to feel it. So you do something else that you can feel to keep your ego busy, to distract yourself. But when you really need to calm down, then all of a sudden it all rushes back. Usually it's at night when nobody else is around, or there's nothing good on TV, or you just meh, or ugh, and it catches up to you. And you want that relief in your brain. You want that relief of those thoughts, those feelings. Now, every time you think something and you put meaning to it and you put an emotion to it, you're telling the brain to think it over, fire and wire, and learn it, and then become efficient by it, and therefore becomes an automatic response so you don't think about it. So as a kid, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And as I'm doing my healing, they said something happened at 8, and there was a repression. And I thought, what? No, I don't remember much happening at 8. 7, yes. 9, yes. But it's the simple process. And what could that simple process be? It started at 7. I couldn't get a hold of what's going on and process it until about 8, and I remember. We were driving from our house in Ovid to Flint, and there is this one road. And as you're going down this road, I had made a decision at around 8, I am not going to think this anymore. And I ripped it out and I threw it out in the field. And it worked, apparently, until I got in my 30s and we were driving down that same road, and I looked out and everything changed, but everything hadn't changed. It come rushing back at me. And I'm like, oh gosh. And it's not that I did not remember that I was molested. I had suppressed all the other stuff. It was time to feel again. And I'm like, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to do this. And that really, hi Sharon, that really has gotten to me. And so at that time, in my 30s, I started having healing tools. So I learned how to begin to manage or move the energy or help it. So this has become my love of actually knowing that there's an answer that can help you to return back to mental health, emotional health, so the body can return back to health. So as I started to do that, you're addicted to the thoughts, addicted to your patterns, addicted to how you processed. So you go back to how you process because there's a trigger somewhere, but it's not the same. And then you got to have it. Well, you got this section over here that you had squeezed down and told the brain to make it an automatic thing, an automatic pops up, a pilot, so that it pops up. Well, you have to become in charge of that. You have to become in charge of all of the things you thought you gathered, you turned into automatic processes. And when I watched this habit, it was like, I want to break this habit. I don't want this habit. But it wasn't just, to get rid of the habit. It was like I needed the wisdom to understand why. And that's when I started learning about the brain. Oh, because it wasn't until I went through the experience of my boyfriend dying, and it was hell for 2 weeks in my mind. And I don't remember 2 weeks of it, but every day my mother said that I wouldn't eat or wouldn't sleep. And she was very worried about me. And I just remember I wanted the hell to stop. That I turned to cigarettes. And that's something I swore I would never do. I don't smoke today, but at the time, it was that hit. Now, your body is you are going to go out and seek the thing that's going to help you process the thing you can't process. And if you turn to the outside and you use the outside to help you process, and the brain goes, oh, that's it, for a split second, it's going to feel like the big hug. Everything's all right again. And common sense, okay, I get it. And then as soon as it wears off, your body goes back into the old thing that it's stuck, that it couldn't process. So you keep doing this habit, suppressing and then feeling and then letting it go. And then you logically think it through so many times, you've hardwired your brain to even be worse. When are you going to say enough's enough? Well, it's these stages. And then, even though I had all these other healing tools, it wasn't until I started putting together energy medicine with traditional Chinese medicine, and it just was by accident. But it's those moments you're like, did that just work? Where did it go? Why do I feel calm and clear? Why don't I feel crazy? So every healing tool I've ever done have just come in. And then how it comes in is because I was focused on wanting the answer, focused on curiosity about why is it this, why is it that, such and such, without realizing that I was getting the knowledge and having experiences, but applying this knowledge without realizing I was doing it to create an experience. And the one I did before was Source Point. Come on. And then how that one was because, again, a lot of knowledge. And I just felt like I needed to apply it to, and before I realized it, to emotions, to a physical form, to something, right? So I started to get faster at bringing information, processing this information, and using it. Oh, AI. That sometimes you have to feed it new information. Sometimes but do you need to focus on that or be okay with whatever it is that's affecting you? Well, you have to wake up with your soul. There is a point where you have to start to understand that you are a soul in physical form. And that physical part of you is saying, okay, we agreed to this. And that part of the soul is going, no. But in the end, your soul, your overall soul is going, okay, now we've done this. And then when your soul wakes up and says, okay, let's get back to evolution. You've sat here too long and you are right here, but you're supposed to be over here. We've done this like, let's say 100 personalities being born, but you're still here. You haven't got there. And now it's time to push you to use that gift of awareness that your soul has, and that you are able to look at, not just look through, but you can be the observer and move through this. So your soul pushes. And the first thing the soul usually will do is, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Do you remember that commercial? He goes to the wise owl. The owl goes, okay. 1, 2, 3, crunch. There. That's how you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. But how many times does it take you to get slapped by life? Now, this is contrast. This is pain and suffering. This is problems from the outside coming at you. You know, it can be about money. It can be about health. It can be about relationships. It could be about shelter. It could be about your, you know, safety, security, stability, standards for space. It's all of these things, the freedom. But that's you over-identifying with matter. That's you processing using outside matter to solve it. But as you start to wake up and you're like thinking, who am I? Why am I here? These existential questions. Your soul goes, oh, okay, yes. So it starts to ask the questions, and you are stopped being so much in the external world and over identifying with matter that you turn inward. And that's the key. So you turn inward. And as you begin to do so, how many times in the past have you gone to such extremes before you got and just said, I'm done. I give up. Okay. I just can't do it anymore. And what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, I put it on a scale. As you start to allow yourself to go through life. So I used to begin to be here with my soul. Okay. And so here is 10 plus, the flying biatch slaps. And it is total annihilation, unhinged, beyond reason, beyond control, beyond everything. And how I cope, handle, and deal with it was that I over-identified with matter, which means my soul, I put on a mask. I couldn't hear my soul or my essence anymore. I was wrapped up in my head, was just crazy with trying to solve it, get out the thing that bothered me. I can't emotionally and mentally handle this anymore. And so you'll break up into parts, or you'll be disassociated, or you'll be all many things. And then as my soul began to present itself in a very soulful manner, I listened and I kind of went in and I said, well, why am I here? What's going on? And as I contemplated and I went in, and out came some knowledge between me and spirit. And so I kind of went backwards. And so I didn't need to go to the extreme. So instead of 10 plus, I went to the 10, which is like a gut punch. It's completely winded, shocked to your core. You can't breathe. You can't think. I'm thinking, wait a minute. If I started to look at this and heal this, it's not as bad, but it's bad. And it's like, well, how many times does it take till you see it? And I'm like, what is that? So we kind of ignore the nuances. We're like, yeah, I don't want to look at that. And it's like it happens to everybody else, but not to me. You kind of, you know, after a while, you get so addicted to being abused by life, by people, by yourself. People denigrate all the time, negativity. And as I began to heal whatever tool, EFT was a big one, my thoughts changed. Always to usual. And as those certain words become sometimes, I noticed that to get my attention, my soul's getting my attention, I started to go down the scale. Okay. Now I got to this point here where majority of the time when I have a live experience, it is the whispering opportunity with life. So this whispering opportunity, oh, I think my husband took my glasses. I don't see him. Oh, that's okay. I'll figure it out. You're balanced, you're connected, and you can hear the whisper before anything goes wrong. So, yeah, I kind of ran out of ink, so they're not as the best as I could have them. Oh, Just a second. I think my, hold on. Oh, is somebody at the door? So hold on. I'm hoping it's true. I'm listening. Hold on. Yes, I gotta go. Get on my thing.
Okay, so Brenda is getting her passport. And here she comes again.
Woohoo! Those aren't the right glasses, but they may work. Okay, you guys, I get to open this. I know I'm supposed to be talking about the thing, but it's here. This has been part of my goal, my achievement is I am an American and I lived in Michigan and I moved to Australia and I finally became a citizen, but it isn't one of those, until you get the finalization. So I have my certification that I'm an Australian citizen, but I officially have my Australian passport. I can't show you all the goodies, but there it is. Oh my God. It's a nice feeling. So I'm a dual citizen now. And to achieve certain things in your life that you think you'd never do, and you do it. And it's good. It's good. So yay me. So I'm excited about it. So you guys got to experience it. So at this point, good things are going to happen when you start listening on a whisper. And it doesn't have to be anything other than tuning in, not with your left brain logical self. This is your whole brain connecting to your heart, connecting to God, and listening from your higher self perspective, learning the language, learning what it means through signs and things like this. But to interpret it, it is not meant to be interpreted by the ego. But if it is signs that you're not sure of, and you start not understanding the difference between your ego and your spirit, then you may continue to do a 10 plus. Okay. This is why this is called the reluctant healer. This is the healer's path. Now, I've talked about how in the past we had the hero's journey. This was on the planet, 3D, but this is more 5D. This is you, the reluctant healer, and you end up becoming the healer. Okay. You always have it in you, no matter who you are. I'm nothing special. Okay. But at the same time, do we need to constantly have to go to complete annihilation? Or can we wake up and it's not as bad? It's bad, but maybe not as often or as deep. So then you go down to a 10 and you're like, oh, that's not bad, right? Right? Oh, that's not a 10. Let me show you what a 10. So here is the 10. The 10 is shocked, breathless, your world collapse. Again, how many times does it take for the universe to, hello, I'm here, let's evolve? But we don't know how to process. So how can we evolve? So we end up here feeling that life is happening to me, not for me. Life is against me instead of with me. And we have to change these hard mindsets by, and guess what? The healing tools that work, where it dissolves the emotional chemical peptides out of the cell. So you go from, as you're sitting and as you're healing, down to a 1 where you're like, what? No, you want it to be 0. And you're like, oh, okay, now the wisdom will start to rise. Now, if you don't begin to use this, this will return because you reinstalled it. It's not because you didn't heal it, it's because you did not address it in a certain way. So you haven't learned how to process. So the more you do this, the more it stops becoming a 10 plus. You start to wake up and you notice it's a 10. It's not as dramatic anymore. So you start to learn to measure, create new parameters. And then all of a sudden, you don't have to go to 10, 10 plus. You may go to a 9. 9 is about the kick in the teeth, sudden, brutal, you're floored. But you're not devastated or annihilated. Where when you think of annihilation and you think of the other two, it is like, let's say that you're supposed to learn to be manage money. And you're like, nah, I'm complacent. I like where I'm at. And you have it in your contract that you are supposed to do this. The person that you loved has the money. Let's say he or she does the accounting, and then they die. Now you're totally responsible for it. That is where you have to stand up and realize that you have to step up to do the very thing that you don't want to do. Ah, thank you, Lisa. And so, again, you shouldn't have to always return to this, the kick in the teeth. So if you pay attention and you use your gift of awareness, you'll stop over-identifying with matter. You'll learn to be more your spiritual self through your heart, through being more balanced. And then, the eighth one is basically says, through the ringer. Sometimes you just go through shit and you're just just worn out. You're just like, oh my God. You got to stop and breathe, get into your heart and say, thank you, Spirit, show me. That's my key thing. Thank you, Spirit, show me. But you got to understand that if you are only taking and comparing it to so Einstein is like, you can't create anything more than what you already know. So if this is the amount of knowledge you know, then you can only create and repeat this, and you can't. But as soon as you start to expand yourself, you'll be able to create greater than that old personality. So that's what I kept doing. And as I created new parameters, I didn't have to keep going through hell. I didn't have to keep going there. I didn't have to. So I can tell when it's an 8 versus a 10 plus. And it's like, it's still too high. Why should I have to have that much contrast to go, oh, duh, and wake up? Why? So then the 7 is a harsh jolt, painful, but pushes you forward. And you can feel this kick in the pants. Okay, you've been kicked in the pants. And you're like, oh, okay, stop. All right, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit. And you get into your space, you get aligned up. You don't logically try to do it. You start putting the pieces together. You start putting things on the shelf, going, okay, I think that's related. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. You may be slow at first, but it'll get faster. And it may, and so the test will come again, and all of a sudden it's a 6 and not a 10 plus. Woohoo! This is mental. What am I missing? But at the same time, you're like, okay, still don't want this to have to go here. I want the whisper. Okay, so you really pay attention. You start writing your sentences down. This always happens, and this is the mood I'm in, blah, 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 blah. And then you start to go, you heal it down to 0 again. And the next time it comes to be a test, it could be a 5. That you catch it and go, oh, whoa, I have to go to 10 plus. Okay, I'm getting this. So a 5 is a head trip, okay? This is obsessive, paranoid, looping thoughts. You can't shut it off, but you're getting it though. Now, these aren't stages, but these are how much does it take until you, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to bring my soul in charge. Because your soul is saying, this has happened, this crappy thing has happened. You ready to heal it? This is where you need to say yes. Okay, this is where you need to say yes. And so this is what I teach. I teach you at all these levels. I teach you to look at the emotions. I learn to get those down to 0. I help you, tell you to write things down, learn to participate. So when the test comes in again, you may just have shit shows, a 4, where it's like, the turnaround time is incredibly fast. You start to write down, I'm crying because of this feeling. I'm crying because I hear this statement. I'm crying because I lack power. So the test comes again. Let's say you haven't healed it up. Test comes again. The test will keep coming because you have lost power. You get 100% life force, and every time you have an experience, you add life force to it, leaving the body vulnerable. Well, you need that life force back to build the body back. So what are you doing? Are you suppressing? That's what I'm doing. That's what I've got to heal, but I have to figure out what that is. So I've abandoned myself type thing. But again, knowledge starts to come when you get to these stages. And a 3 is a knee-jerk reaction. Now, you can heal this at any time. You may all of a sudden wake up and go, I just did a knee-jerk. Oh, and I hurt that person's feelings. Oh, but it felt good. Oh, shoot, I need to heal how that feels good. I enjoy hurting myself. I enjoy hurting others. No. So you have a lot of conflict within inside yourself. So you begin to say, that's not my intention. So you start to build spiritual values, spiritual morals. Do you understand? You begin to do this. And once you get the knee jerks out of the way, and because the knee jerks turn into the story and you can't stop blaming, you got to heal these at different levels. Then the nice part is when it just becomes a bee sting. This is like a 2. Ow. Okay, universe, you got my attention. I'm listening. But you don't use logic. You use both parts of your brain. You use your heart. You connect with higher self, and you say, "Thank you, Spirit." And with that process, you learn to listen. And once you start to learn to listen to the whisper, you'll realize it has a distinct voice, and it'll speak louder than anything else. And you're like, "Yeah, I know that spirit." Like I'm sitting there crying and everything, and then all of a sudden I look down and all these pebbles look the same. No, they don't. The universe created a smile and came out and go, "Hey, babe." And I'm like, I went from hell to heaven. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's a choice. You get to learn your choice points, and you keep doing this over and over. And the one's not bad. This is your tiny wobble, a sign, a moment that almost got your attention. And it's just a nudge from the universe. But you're training yourself to see in different things. I even got to the point when I was at the whispering opportunity that laughter made it happen. A famous person, I can't say their name. Well, I went to a comic book convention, and I'm talking to my friend, and I was talking about my health, and this famous person came out of the bathroom, and the signs and everything the universe was using with this famous person, I started to laugh. I said, oh my God, I can learn on a whisper. I can learn with laughter, because that was the very thing that confirmed the very thing that Spirit was trying to tell me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I went and I healed out what I needed to heal out, changed my perspective, which changed the choice, which changed the trajectory, which changed the timeline, and got me to return faster with joy. So the turnaround times are very important. So each stage of these, so I'm happy to say that I finally made the chart that I've been in my head. And am I happy where the placements are? Pretty much. If Spirit wants me to change it, I will. But otherwise, it's like I got something that was air castles in the sky are now in this form that allows me to see it in the physical form. Okay, very important. Very important. I'm looking for my chat window. There we go. So yes, when Angela says, I have been sick in my stomach, well, you keep giving your life force. And the stomach is the earth. And if your heart's crushed, then the fire, the heart is in the fire. The fire is supposed to feed the earth. And as the earth is supposed to have the warmth so that it can grow and have plants and things like this, it's the warmth. And it's crushed. Your heart's crushed. Then the earth, which is stomach and spleen, is that your stomach is not going to be able to digest right. It's not going to be able to function right. It's going to have issues because fire is supposed to support, to create, to be with earth, to allow earth to grow. And then earth is the mother to metal, and that's large intestine and lung. Okay, and it goes on, and they all yin and yang. Yin and yang are always like this. So if yang's too much, yin will be small. But if yin's too much, then yang will be small. You can't separate yin and yang. You can't separate. They're completely opposite, but they both need each other to see, to be. And this is what goes in the body. So when you're working on the emotions and you're helping to prepare the heart, it can help your digestive system. It can help your immune system. It can help all the rest of you. But if you taken your willpower and you said to your soul, and no, I got this, and I can't, because life's too scary, then you have a whole nother communication that can happen. But you go deeper. Keep healing. Keep healing. So when I ask you, how's your life doing? And you're like, I need a session or whatever, I'm right here. Okay. So any given day, you may be down here, happy, mellow, everything's great. This is about awakening, the reluctant healer. How many signs does it take? How are you showing up today? What you resist persist. But I want to teach you how to go within, connect with that soul that can help you see and understand that you're like a separate entity, because you are the essence of spirit that has the gift of awareness. But when the spirit turns and looks, it can observe, then healing can happen on a whole nother level. So it's super important to understand, I want you to become a spiritual human. I want you to be spirit first, then the human. I want the integration, because if you do not integrate this, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be parts. Okay. Not good. Hold on. Why isn't this working? I'll make it bigger. Sort of. Okay. Now, I remember April Sunshine says, I remember the turnaround time would be days, and now it's in minutes. And April Lynn, so proud of you to becoming aware of that. And doesn't it feel great to have that gift, that ability? Because you're learning to master how to become a spiritual human. And it's not, and you're at that choice point. And when you know you're at that choice point, now when you're interacting with other people, that choice point is still there. The turnaround time is still there, but there's some bigger things and other perceptions in that kaleidoscope of perception, which I'm going to have to make one of those too. That all of a sudden you're like, I'm looking through this one. This is the way life is. And then when you start to gather information and you get to have knowledge, get to experience life differently, especially through the soul, then the perspective goes. And then all of a sudden you realize, and this, and maybe I'm not that, but you are. So, and this. So you learned how to do and respect. That's part of the Medicine Woman Solution method. This isn't just a one and done. It's not a small thing. It's a huge thing. But each little piece can get you to become happier and healthier and stronger, because you're choosing your soul. You're choosing that part of you that's love to operate here. Ozzy. Oi, oi, oi. You're funny. I get it now when Lisa Marie did that. Yeah. Yes. Oi, oi, oi. So this isn't like, okay, what's your mood today? It is, what are you experiencing today? And if you're saying, here, this is where I basically live, okay, what is it you can't see? What is it that spirit, your soul, wants you to know? Where are you? And if you say here, then we can say, good, we can measure it. And if you say it's a 9, we can measure it. We measured it. Now to get you to choose with your ego to sit there and feel. Don't come up with conclusions. That just means that you want to stay there. But true healing is, okay, feel it. And all of a sudden, things begin to change. And you keep that number down and you get it here. You may only have to go maybe up here once or twice because it's something that's really deep and you didn't learn it in your dreams. Yes, you can measure in your dreams. That's report cards, more or less. Or you can learn it from TV set. But energy needs you to move. This is why you got Qigong, Tai Chi, all these. And people think, oh, that's exercise. No, it's yin and yang, the balancing, so that if you had aches and pains and you didn't learn any lessons or spiritual issues, but you're moving energy, you're still going to experience this balance. There are many paths. That was the other time I was trying to get to show. There's many paths, okay? This is the reluctant healer's journey, okay? But we're in the 5D world. We are in the healer's journey. But each one of us has a healer's path. And that doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to be a healer and I'm going to be a Reiki healer. No. That means your personal path to connect with your soul, to help it grow, to get into the state of love so that you become a spiritual human. Everybody's going to paint differently, okay? Everybody's going to have a landscape too, but there is the thing in common. That's your soul. Okay. Hopefully you guys got to learn something there. And you can do this. And April Lynn, that's good. When you start to realize that you're in hell, but if you are waking up and you become the observer, watching yourself in hell, and it's taking notes, and then when you calm that down and all of a sudden you become your spiritual human self, you can be spirit first, look through it without tainted, whatever you call it. What's my going on my camera here? Tainted with perspectives, because we all look like this. And so if a person's showing up who they are, and then we're liking this, okay, well, they're perspectives. You have to heal those out. No one can show up to you any other way than you let them. And when you start to go down and you're like, why is it being mean to me? Where is it in you? You expect it. So if you repressed your yin and your yang is strong, then you may have somebody show up strong so you can see that you're suppressed yin. It's complicated, but that's my other part that I'm working on, is developing to talk in energies. So having trouble concentrating. Great. I'm having trouble concentrating. You are aware that is actually a symptom. On a scale from 0 to 10, yeah, it's bad. I can't concentrate. Then you begin to notice that you can't. Well, I'm going to just say, Angela, start doing R1D. I need you to write down, I have trouble concentrating, and it's a 10 plus or whatever you feel at, but it's worse. And then you sit there intentionally choosing to sit with yourself, holding right wrist first position nice and deep, R1D. And don't forget that you need to include this part, okay? Nice and deep. Put your finger here, safe, secured, stability, and you sit there. Give yourself 10 minutes. Set the timer if you must. Give yourself the edge and sit there. And if you'll sit there, and if you hear yourself saying because, stop, write down because, and then let it go, drop into the feel. And then you hear like because, write that down, then drop into the feel. Because, write it down, drop into the feel. Keep that pattern up. Keep that pattern up. And what's going to happen is you're going to learn, after so many times of doing healing different things, that you move from just being to being your spiritual self, witnessing yourself. And when you are able to do that, all of a sudden, you get to heal on a whole nother level, which can be very incredible. Okay? So you sit here and you hold it for 10 minutes. It's whatever time you got now, because my clock will be different than your clock. And then you come back to me. And you tell me the number. So what number are you at? Okay, but see, you're giving yourself excuses. If you notice that I can't concentrate, and you said, oh, it's because my attention span needs work, write that down. How do you know it? Go back into the feel. If the next sentence comes up, write it down. We can do this back and forth. Now I'm going to get my piece of paper. And I'm going to, I know that Miss April Lynn has paid for a chat, so that's wonderful. And let's see what else we have. I need to open this up. And so I need to be reminded. We almost didn't have show today because the electrical panel went out again, but it was a different panel. But then I think it was just got tripped because I had unplugged a extension cord somewhere. And I'm like, what? But no big deal. So may the 4th be with you, and may the force be with you. May you understand that you are a life force, you're spiritual, your soul, and may that be with you. You understand? So we've got Autumn that wants to have a reading as well. What else do we got? Very good. All right. Hello, Mindy. Now, if you've never had a reading from me before, this is your opportunity to say, yes, please, I'd like a reading. Now, I'm going to go over and my what do you call the moderators will let me know if anybody wants us. So stay in, stick with it. It's not hard. It's not painful. You'll learn. So you get to have an example right now. And so Miss April Lynn, are you here? So it'd be this one. We will see. And then she shows up because they're going to have me read something a little bit different. How interesting. I'm going to check to see. She probably just say spirit. Yes, what spirit wants. Okay, I don't know if she's present, but we'll continue. Okay, so they are having me look at something different. I'm like, but I'm not quite prepared. And they said, yes, you are. Well, that's just nice of them. That means that I have not got my sheets done yet, but you're losing a lot of power in your large intestine. So I'm saying yin or yang. So if I go into yang, is it suppressed or is it increased? It's increased. Is it you or is it the outside? They said the outside. And the large intestine, so the information that's coming from the outside is somebody is showing you regret. So the person that may be in regret, maybe not showing you, or maybe they are showing you. But however that is, it is affecting your metal. It's affecting the way that you are formed. But how it affects you then is it affects the lung. So large intestine and lung are metal. And when the outside affected your large intestine, where they have regret, your lung is saying, I am to overcompensate. So the lung is saying, I have to overcompensate. So my question is, can you identify, have you noticed that you overcompensate for things? When people get into a specific mode, as in regret talk, remorse talk, when they get in that stage, they may feel, again, this deep feeling. When you feel that in your scalar field, you're supposed to show up this way, a very particular one way, which is to overcompensate. And when that happens, I'm told to wait for you to say if you recognize this. So we'll just pause just for a second so that we can look to see if she can understand what I'm referring to. When you get a reading, it's not about the minutes, it's about how do you connect with these particular words, feelings. Can you see how it resonates in your life? Does it make any sense? Because if not, I can find another way to communicate. And we go from there. Okay. Because what I'm seeing is that this is part of your language growing up. So if you're not having it now, or people are talking with regret and remorse, but in the past, so when they would talk that way, you were supposed to show up as overcompensating. So they keep saying it's the language that keeps you around. This is how you know your life. This is how you know. Now, I'm not sure how to make this happen considering. There we go. It's not cooperating. So you may not know how to connect with this, looking for balance. I have been bloated stomach, looking for balance. Okay, so I'm looking at how I'm on a timer. I got 4 minutes left to put the puzzle piece in, but they're not giving me the puzzle piece. I just see a blank space. And we either wait a little longer or we try it again. So once I started to focus, once I knew this, then I will aim in that direction. So now you can aim at that direction. Okay. Had some complainers around me. Okay. So I said, did you have complainers around you? Is that you? Yeah. So we're looking at a frequency. So the frequency of regret and remorse. What frequency are you drawing to you? They said F sharps. And F sharps are stomach. So you got F sharps, stomach. And I'm going to say, let's listen to what has been around her. They said people that are self-centered people. So F sharp, self-centered people. And so that energy then causes you to have to show up as that I'm supposed to be at attention. To look, to be at attention is also pay attention. There's an attention thing there. And when F sharp's going off, your self-imposed limitation is supposed to come into play. Oh, I see what they're doing. So if that's Earth, and then, so what does that do then when self-centered people show up and you are having to respond that way, which is lung? Oh, wow. So you got two things that are really affecting the metal area. So regret, I have to overcompensate. They're standing there with self-centeredness. You're supposed to see how you fail to live up to, or whatever, self-imposed limitations. I have to stop myself, repress myself to fully be me because I can't survive around these people because it's a threat. Yes, and it is about these reactions. Because if you take it as I feel that I'm being tested to see what my reaction is, as I, yeah, as do that I need to make my teddy bear story here, my teddy bear elements. So you have Earth that's affecting. You have lung that's affecting the large intestine. You have Earth that's affecting it. And Earth is supposed to mother, support. And in this case, I said, is it supporting or is it dominating? So you have people that are self-centered that's dominating you. And you don't realize it, but the program, the auto program says that I'm supposed to be self-imposed limitations. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like you said, I feel like I'm being tested in my reactions. Okay. I said, now, is there more that we need to know? And they said, what she needs to understand is that her body is in the stress mode of run. I said, so it's not paralyzed will. No, it's in run state. What does this mean? Well, because her body's in run state, her stomach says, I'm supposed to run. So the energy of stress is in the stomach, and I'm supposed to run. And I'm supposed to run away with worry. So how you then go into, I have to run, you pick up and say, I worry. So worry then becomes your run. When worry comes into play, then that's the stomach, but it starts affecting the large intestine again. And I said, what about territory? They're gonna step all over my territory and tell me how I'm supposed to have it and blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? She said, yes, exactly. On the self-limiting, I am being tested on. So we want to break this, and this is more of a yin-yang particular thing, which is a little different than how regular success is, but we're using the same protocol sheet. So you would then have to start doing R1D directly to self-imposed limitations. Can you hear how you put these limitations on yourself when these people appear? If you can feel how your body goes, and then wants to run, but you're still there, notice that it's energy, it's limitation, it stops you, and it will be in the large intestine stomach area. So it will be in this space here. Okay. So you could actually, when you're holding, feel the body, assess it, feel how, yeah. And then just as you're holding, you may, the closer you get to what's called the implicit memory on the yin yang aspect, you may feel an actual physical release. And I'm like, whoa. So I have been, and it's to help you with the physical more and more. So in the scalar field, you are supposed to suppress yin. And yin can be very toxic. And yang will seem very strong. So we want to change these. So in the very first way I would say to change these would be to R1D, self-imposed limitation. The second thing is that we have to get your large intestine to stop giving away its power. So in this case, you are going to say R1S. Okay, this is soft. This one is soft, not deep. R1S. And you're going to notice that you give away your power when those energies come near, and you can feel how then they start to invade the territory, your territory. Even if they don't cross it yet, by you going, you gave a certain amount of life force, which means they already crossed your territory. Yes, my body wants to sway side to side. Okay, roll with the body, breathe with the body. Okay. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Now you keep healing. I'll check with you in a minute. How are we doing with, is she still here, Angela? Did you get any more words? And is there anybody here that like, oh, hi, Minnesota? Well, so's Amy. Anybody here that wants a reading that hasn't had one before? I'll give you a free one. This is your chance to see the rest of the story. Let's see. If you have gotten a reading or likes to hear this again, you can go over to YouTube for Medicine Woman Soultion. That's Soultion. Subscribe, get the thumbs up, leave a message. You know, this is after it's been posted. Communicate, talk, help me out. If you can do that, that would be great. Wow, R1D is a 10. Wow. So love it. She's able to measure that this particular thing that's happened so long ago is actually 10. It's bad. Okay, it's bad. It is so bad, it's a normal that she can't see it anymore as bad. But you, as the observer, are going to learn how to help your body heal. Okay. Let's move on to Miss Autumn, because I don't see her here. So she may have lost connection. She may have stepped away. She may, but Angela, I'm talking for you, with you, but I don't see you. So let's go to Miss Autumn. Miss Autumn, are you here? So can't believe I got, see, my brain is learning how to register that I have my passport. So uniquely different. Very pretty. Very pretty. Okay, put that away because I heard her. She said yes. Miss Autumn. I got a problem here. Okay. There's a hidden story. And I think they're trying to train me. So I'm going to have to go down the lines of like what I did with April. They're like, yay. So in your metal element, the large intestine, which you're so used to people crossing your territory all the time, and you learn to stand up. Now it is about the triple warmer. The hidden, it's the triple warmer. So it's like this is how I self-soothe. So the way that you self-soothed, the way that you coped, managed, dealt, pacified, all of that, the triple warmer is saying that I know this duress. I see through this as perspective of duress, and I'm not going to let this happen to me again because you are rising. But we have got to calm down the triple warmer, because the triple warmer, which is fire, is going and let's see, it's supposed to be a check. So the check, instead of supporting it and all this, is supposed to keep it in checks and balances. Well, the fire is melting the metal. It is too much. It is causing you to, have issues in the lung or large intestine area. But it is a certain amount of karma of cause and effect. So you're being the cause, you're being the effect, they're being the cause, they're being the effect. So there's something that is happening, so a reaction. So if once you hit something that's a domino effect, it has to keep doing this reaction. And they said the thing that they would like you to disrupt is the love as a weapon. So you have a perspective that sits over love, and you are seeing people use it for their gain or somebody else's gain. So in this case, they want you to hold R3S, nice and soft. And to get there, you are to look at how duress, the language, the tone, the gestures are all duressing, pushing. It's a force. You can look at it and say, how fast is it coming? You can feel the pressure. And this is where you were also taught, as you observed, is that you have to use that type of pressure to someone else to get the results you think is correct. So you're doing two things here. One, this is how your family did it. Two, this is how it's being done to you. And you are going to start waking up in between this, if this makes sense. Okay? All right. So you have to get this triple warmer under control, because the triple warmer says it's a threat and therefore it wants to trigger you. But let's see if we can get how the yin and the yang communicate. So if you're holding R3S, I want you to see how yin is supposed to be quiet. Now that you've grown, yin ain't going to be quiet. But the body says yin is quiet, but now yin is toxic. So, okay. So the energies you're not fully supporting yourself in the energy form. Oh, 11. I see a whole bunch of sixes there too. Okay. So begin with that. You need to begin to understand this relationship. Okay. So when you heal that, start to heal it, I want you to, just like I asked with Autumn or Angela, to listen to the language. I want to teach you how to not be the person that's the human or the victim. I want to teach you how to be the observer. Okay. So the observer is going to be doing the healing. I want to move you to be a spiritual human. So now the spirit, because you've been with me, the spirit is now need to be the observer form. So as you do that, you're going to hold, feel, hear. Okay. And as you hear, you're going to go, oops, I'm going to write this down because I can clearly hear the statement. Okay. And then go back into feel how you know it. So now we're going to do parts integration. So when you hear it, and if Angela's listening too, it is to understand where you're putting your life force to make it true, even though it may not be true. So do you value it? Is this important to you? So when she says, well, I can't concentrate, then I say, okay, why is that important? Well, it's not. This is, or she'll say, because. See, to find the hidden thing, you can move to the observer state, write the statements. Why is it important to you? Drop into the feeling of how you know it's true, but drop into the feeling of, why is it important to me? You're going to keep dropping and parts integrating. Okay, so you're going to keep doing it. So then get back to me. Now, Angela says, I'm here and it's not concentration. It's keeping my attention on the task at hand long, and I'm about a 5. So it's like it went from one language to the next. Now she's observing that it's not about, it's about the task I'm doing. Okay. So something inside her keeps pulling her. So if you just breathe and look at the pull, and let's see if you switched anywhere. They said they want you to go to right wrist, second position, S, R to S. And they want you to focus on how you're looking and you can't concentrate. Now, I just want you to pay attention. What pulls you? Begin to look at what pulls you, so that you can reveal it to yourself. And when you do, and you're like, oh, there it is. Oh yeah, I'm being pulled, because this is part of the autopilot that puts you to sleep. This is how, we've done this so many times. It's brain efficiency. Therefore, I don't think about it, but you have to wake up and say, no, I don't want this anymore. Okay, so you're going to concentrate and you're going to go, oh, I just left. And then focus on how you can feel you're dropping, and oh my God, this is how I leave. And then when you finally get that measured and you heal it down to 0, then all of a sudden you're going to notice hey, and you're going to look and you're like, you may get some words, you may get why, but now it's time. And instead of suppressing it, ignoring it, the little nuances, you can say, okay, I'm going to observe. So this means that part of you is going to go, ew, while another part of you is going to go, oh, I see. Oh, okay. So I need you to learn how to be your spiritual self, to put and help train your brain to become your spiritual first. Then the human becomes second. Oh, so Autumn said that she shifted. Please check. Well, Autumn is a 2.5. Keep going, they said. See, and you're learning. There's a shift. It's not make-believe. You just sit with it, and all of a sudden it'll just happen. And you're like, ooh. It's just a woo. And just keep going. All right. So if you can help out, get the promote into Facebook to groups that do spiritual things, that accept it. Don't just throw the stuff in there because, hey, it's a group. There may be rules. But there are a lot of places out there that do accept people that do for help, to do an alternative way of showing that something else may work. To give back, to talk to friends, to whatever you want to do, help out in some way. That would be great. Okay, so we're looking and waiting for, I believe they're all participating. We got April Lynn, we got Angela, and we got Autumn. And I'm aware that they're all 3As. So let's get the 4th one going. I'm just going to put it out there, Amy. If you want to start getting ready, we'll bring Amy on, and it'll be my 4th A. I wonder when I'm going to do the rest of the alphabet. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny because when I'm in spiritual, I read Ozzy, 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 but in my mind, my spirit didn't hear that. But any other time, I'm hearing Ozzy, 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 oi, oi, oi. And then it's like, coming back to reality. I heard, welcome, Ozzy. That's so funny. So Autumn says, I heard hookup. So she's learning with her intuition, and she feels complete with her. And I'm going to say, good job. Yes. Is there any other side trip? They go, no, not right now. So finger in the belly button, finger in the forehead, push in, lift up. This is to help concrete and set the healing you just did. And it also, smiling helps to release into the cells joy. So I always say, get your giggles on. But this too helps bring up, zip up this, and it zip ups this, the governing. So you can learn to govern instead of something else governing it. You can learn to be central and in your space. And it creates this egg around you for protection. Okay. I hope I showed you a different way today to heal and to measure. Oh, let's see. I got to get off this screen and onto the right one. This one? No. This one? Yes. Do anybody understand why it's important to check? Hey, Davin. How you doing? Oh, look at me. There's me on Medicine Solution. That's cool. Get to the right thing. So let's go get, what did I say? We got Angela. We have Autumn. We had April. Now let's go get Amy. My husband's name's Alan. So I surrounded myself with a lot of A's. A. Gotta begin somewhere. That's funny. Let's see here. To see this set at gallery, I think it is. Yes, there. Now I can see. Hello?
Hi.
I can hear you. Excellent. So, how's my backyard?
It's beautiful. It's raining today, though.
Yeah, it's cold out today. So she's starting to experience what a fall and winter feeling is in Australia. It's not always hot. I mean, the girl had to go buy some long sleeves and some pants.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. How can I help you?
I want to say dig in, but I'm sure there's something different that needs to be addressed, but I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, so let's see. Spirit is telling me that if we told Amy to really just say, how's life going? She would say,
good.
And how are you handling life's little ups and downs?
A lot better than I was in the past.
Okay. So what were you doing in the past? Were you 0 or 10 plus? Where were you?
No, I was probably like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
Okay. And when you started to be awake, you would have said that you were never an 8, 9, 10.
Oh, God, no.
Life was great. It was great. So let's talk about the language before you really understand where you are now, because you worked for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
So when you first start out and you begin to feel your soul's urge, what did yours feel like?
It was just this knowing that when I first saw you on Facebook, it was like something clicked inside of me saying, I have to know more. I have to know more. I have to know more. I have to learn from this woman. I have to know more.
Okay. So you could feel this.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know more. When you were ignoring that feeling, and you
10
started to be
pluses.
complacent, and you're living life, I don't need to do anything, then something like this would happen. So did you ever feel that you noticed like little nudges here and there, but you didn't understand what those meant?
Yeah, exactly. Like the cancer, diabetes, my parents dying, all of these things, they were like real bitch slaps, but I couldn't hear it.
Okay. And you didn't understand it because you were just being human.
Yeah.
And you're just being human. But now you are feeling you're called to something more. Now, as you get called to something more, the fear is going to come up and lie and lie and lie and say it's the truth.
Yep.
And you kept repeating these parts over and over. And I had you wake up and say, let's address the fear. What are you talking about? I don't have any fear. You're looking through your face and you're like, there's no fear here.
Right.
And I said, you talking to me, I remember a couple sessions, it's like, you're afraid of me. Well, no, I'm not. I'm like, well, it's not that you're afraid of me. You don't want to hear what
I didn't want to hear what it was like I wanted to keep everything like suppressed, hidden, because I didn't want to feel it because it was scary to feel.
Right. And then in the human form, the ego's going to go, she's going to find things that are wrong with me. She's going to find flaws and point them out, and it's going to hurt. She's going to sit there and judge me. And so you would be insecure, unstable. She was totally composed. Started to do that very well. And it's like, okay,
yes,
we have to crack this if you're going to want to do this program with me. And I said, so you have to be okay to be vulnerable with me, with yourself. You're like, how did you know you were going to do it? How did you know you wanted to do it?
It was this push from, I want to say my mother. It was like, you have to do this to really learn who you are.
Okay. Hold on. I got to make sure there's a microphone not talking somewhere. Whoops.
Oh, here, I'll shut my door.
No, I heard it earlier by myself, so I don't know what it is. Oh, I love that spot. That tree, that little palm tree that you guys can't see. It's fat little pineapple. Now it's getting bigger. So
yeah, it's a nice tree.
You felt this pull that you wanted something. You're looking around. Everything's great, but something was missing. You felt incomplete. You felt this motivation to go after something. Yeah. You tried art. You tried this and that. And then when I spoke about something, what was it that I was speaking about that made you go, I need to listen?
I think you were talking about the meridians and how energy worked in the body. And I'm like, well, wait, what?
So yours was about health. Yours was about how we create life. And that's good. So everybody will have a reason or a why or a how.
And I remember you giving somebody a success point, and you said, if this resonates with you, hold that. And I held that, and whatever it was, it shifted within me, and I'm like, there's something to this.
See, this is where some people can't use their gift of awareness in the observation mode, going, where'd it go? There's something to this. And some people, it is they feel it go down, but their fear's saying, I need that. Or I cannot give this up, which is hyper-focused, is I got to make them pay. I got to make them wake up. But you didn't have any of that. That was you there alone going, there's something more to life. I just wanted to say, Davin, if you hang around after I'm done with Amy, I'll answer that question. So it's important. And when you stopped focusing on it, what would happen? If you stop focusing on that knowing, that soul thing, that saying, the urge, when you ignored it, what happened?
Another thing would happen that would kick me back into, you have to go figure this out. I would get the bee stings. I would get all of those things, and it's like, okay, I have to wake up from this.
But you started to develop, I don't really have to go through this. I don't have to really be scared. Like, you had cancer at 21, but there was a part of you that was like, nope, I've got cancer, I'm doomed. But you weren't told beforehand. You just had to go in, you had surgery, and you were told afterward. You went through the treatments, but you didn't have that buildup, that thought. You were told when you had diabetes too, that this is a forever thing and you're stuck with it. Look what you created, blah, blah, blah. And I said, let's take that limitation and give you education. And you're like, what? And I said, just follow a doctor. And I sent some information. And it wasn't cooing, it wasn't hyped, it was, what? And so then you went a little bit further. You started to apply the changing your lifestyle, your eating habits, and stopped applying processed foods. And all of a sudden, are you diabetic or diabetes 2 today?
No.
And when
on my medical records, it says has a history of.
Now, how proud are you of that?
That's freaking amazing, because we're taught that once you're diagnosed with something, you're going to have that for the rest of your life. And I don't think that's true anymore. I know that's not true.
When you start to remove that limitations, do you feel more safe? Do you feel like you have a little bit more control?
Absolutely.
And then you take a little bit more responsibility for your life, because it's not just life is happening to you. You're starting to realize your life, and you can make life, and you can make it. And then you realize that life is happening for you, and that everything's a living, breathing moment, soulfully and physically, to the point that you're like, I don't have to believe when I have a shit show. You are learning how to be your spiritual self, looking, and you don't have to be slapped awake. You are awake. You are here. You may not get it. It doesn't mean you're living there. You're living here as your spirit. But if spirit says, okay, we got to learn this, and you're like, okay, and you didn't see the nuances, you didn't see the little subtleties, so maybe you have to go here. But you're like, oh my God, and you're like, stop. You go into your spiritual mindset, you take note, you begin to heal right away. The turnaround time is so fast that you're back here even before you're finished healing. And this is exciting, because then you understand, I understand that feel it. How did I know to memorize how to feel? And in this one, it is to be in a knee-jerk reaction. How did I know to do the knee-jerk reaction? Again, bring some knowledge in.
It's usually because you've been there. You've done that before, and that knee-jerk reaction helped you get out of it before, so you go into that again, and this time it doesn't work. And then you're like, okay, I have to work on this. I have to look at this from a different perspective.
Notice that her mindset is saying, I've been here before. Notice the mindset is that this worked the first time. So she's taken the knowledge of Medicine Woman Solution, and anything that we solve it, no matter what age, and we solved it, we're going to try this, and it may not work. This, it may not work. This may not work. But it happened one time, I resolved it. And then all of a sudden you resort back to the first time it worked. And it doesn't necessarily work But it does, because they then apply the suppressing and all these other things to make it happen. So this is where you go fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop, fornicate, all that. You're like, oh, so this way of processing in a 3D world just for the human is just not for me anymore. So you're starting to represent that you are a spiritual being. You're developing your frontal lobe to be not with your ego. Ego is moved out here as a lens to look through. And your lessons and your wisdom, you get to operate through that spiritual self going, you got my attention. Thank you, Spirit. What do I need to know? You don't logically think it through and then hand the answers to God. No, you stand there and you say, thank you, Spirit. And you wait until all of a sudden Spirit talks loud and you're like, oh, that got my attention in a good way.
Yep.
That's the whisper. And you're like, thank you, Spirit. And then you start to walk with confidence in that direction. And lo and behold, you're in a better spot. You just saved yourself from having to keep repeating a particular hell. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So they're saying that they like these communications, these back and forth with somebody that's been, she chose a long time ago to sign up with me to do experimental trials of, let's put a healing tool here. Will it apply to pain and suffering? Will it apply to physical pain? Will it apply to, hey, this shit's happened in the moment. Where can you apply it? And you can pretty much apply it anywhere and everywhere, even to the point where she manifests. So you can do more, a lot more in a whisper by vision reality, by changing that. So today they've said, let's find out what's happening with your yin and your yang. And so they want to bring through something new. So they're saying your yang, and that's your nervous system, that is your will. Okay, it's found in water, and your willpower is controlled by water. Water is controlled by emotions. Water. So what's going on? They said your bladder is about being let down. So you will have all the experience. And I said, if I said write down let down, how many times you were let down by a person or life, give you a second, and I'm just going to say breathe in and out. She's going to write down. And this is a process. You take what's in your mind and you just write it down. And when she's done with that list, she will say, okay.
Every time I turn around, every time I ask for anything, it is, no, you can't have this, or, oh, I promise you this, but that promise is never delivered on.
Okay. So she has proof. She has experience. She has a high number, 10 being, this is my life. And this is in the past. So notice that I have to ask her, are you asking about it right now, the present, the future, or the past? This list is coming from the past. And I said, so that means that there are particular ages that you are. Okay, that you will be stuck at. So I'm looking again. It says that it didn't matter if you self-justified. They would justify why they couldn't help you or justify why you can't. So she would put down the word self-justify. And it could be theirs. Okay. And it was was it final? That once they gave that justification, you had to do
Usually, yeah. Usually, yeah.
So in this case, what is she doing with her yang energy? Her yang energy is paralyzed. She can't take action. She can't create life. So in this case, what else? They said to live in a world so that you could be happy, as this life is saying, no, 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 you would go into your fantasy life and you would have built a false realities. So take and write down, build false realities, and then take a breath in and write more down about what your false realities are. See, now this is a little harder because you're like, what are you talking about? Have you built this thing where you feel safe and secure and stable? What did you have to give up to have this?
Change.
Explain.
So what just popped into my head is, I lived in the same house pretty much my whole entire life. The house that I came into when I was 6 weeks old and lived there for 50 years. And I had to give up change to make myself feel safe. So
You
like
had to give up change to keep yourself safe. Keep going so other people follow.
So like when after my parents had passed, I wanted to paint the living room. It took me 2 years to finally cover up the last bit of the paint that I had put on, 15, 20 years prior, because that was the color my mom chose.
So you couldn't
Because if I
have what
covered
you
up
wanted.
that color, I would lose her. And that's so not true.
Very good, very good. So now let's go back to that first part of the list. What was your first thing on the list?
Letdown.
So
every time I asked for anything, it was always a no.
Now, if I had her measure that first, she would have had it higher. Now, if you notice the gestures, the tone, and the face, what do you think it is now?
Maybe 2 or 3.
Okay. And when they self-justified so that you wouldn't change or you have to keep everything the same, does it sound logical? What did you put
Not
under
anymore,
that?
no.
What did you put in that category?
I was always let down. It was an always. It was never anything that I asked for, and that even to the present day, this one person in my life promises stuff and never delivers.
Okay. You've gotten so used to it, it becomes your normal. So then you don't even bother to ask for change. It's the same story. I can't have change. Everybody's got excuses, everything like this. So now if I ask Spirit, how would we want to help? And they said, notice that your yang was suppressed, never got to, to grow. And I said, what happened to that will? That will, instead of being paralyzed, held grudges. So now you're just going to go into that mindset, write down grudges and say, think about how you couldn't get your way, or you had to always be let down. What would be the grudges?
Twisted revenge.
Put down twisted revenge, and then you're going to share your definition of your experiences with that word. It is an MWS glossary word, but let's see how she knows it.
So twisted revenge is if you aren't getting your way, and so you want somebody else to hurt because you're hurting, you're going to say something like, well, if I'm no longer here, being TikTok platform friendly, if I'm no longer here, you're going to hurt.
So in a twisted revenge is you end up hurting yourself, hoping they'll cry. If something bad happens to me, it's your fault, then you're going to feel bad.
Yeah.
And this comes from the little child that is learning how to function and may have seen other adults do it, or come to the conclusion that this is their last resort to get their needs met. And we forget about the fact that the needs of being validated, being loved, being creative. And when you are stunted from having any of that, it becomes very stifling. So when you had to stifle the fact that you could not create change, be change, and do this and that, then you would feel very, insecure. You would have to rely on them. And as you, so you learn to shut down your desires, your emotions, your motives. Okay. So
really shut down emotions.
okay, tell me how you did it or what you know.
Well, like last night, the movie that we watched, it, you know, it brought up a lot in you. I could see that,
Oh.
but I'm just sitting there going, being like monotone, absolute, no emotion really going into the movie. And it's like, and I've noticed this throughout my life where like tear-jerking movies or emotional or like spy thrillers or something like that, it's like I don't get pulled in, if that makes sense.
I said, is it just not your making? No, you had to suppress. And if I look, why? You suppress by giving yourself cloudy thinking. Why? Because emotionally repressed was how you self-soothed. Can you write that down? You emotionally repress, so that's how you self-soothe. That's her pacifier. What do I mean by that?
So in order to stay safe or comfortable, I had to repress my emotions so that I could stay safe in an emotionally shit show house.
Right. So as I look and I ask, you repressed your emotions, they said that's a yin thing and that you're supposed to be forever longing. So you used yin, you suppressed it, and you're like,
Yep.
okay, I'll just live in a longing. Why? What?
And that's the normal.
Oh, excuse me. So that you could
Bless you.
survive. So what is coming from the outside, and what's coming from this outside is that you will find people that are very insecure feeling. And so they were always the highlight of the day. Okay. So let's say they're very insecure. Insecure can show up in many ways. And you thought, okay, I put myself on the back burner because they're the highlight today. And they're always this way. So we always have to walk eggshells. What was your life growing up?
It was walking on eggshells. It was making sure that everybody else was happy. I was the entertainment to keep them from feeling their feelings of the loss of two children.
Okay. Okay. Now, there's a part of you that says it's better to be a martyr. So what you chose was yin sacrifice. So I have to sacrifice the yin, the sacrificial yin. Why do we need to sacrifice ourselves?
It's a program and we don't have to.
Very good. So if I said if you were to work on R1S, where the language, keep them around the homestead, to tell you that your whole pattern of what you wrote down, that your history, that your heredity, your all of that is telling you this is who you are. If you were to hold that R1S and say, wait a minute, why do I need to continue to sacrifice myself? Why is that important? What's the importance?
The importance of it in the ego is that it's safety.
Why is safety important?
Because if you're not safe, something bad's gonna happen.
So why is that important? Something bad's going to happen.
Well, it always does.
Why is it important that it always does?
I just heard that's not fair.
Why is it's not fair important?
I just heard they always got what I wanted.
Why is they always got what I wanted important?
That was having to be the martyr.
Why was being the martyr important?
Because then I would be seen.
Why is it important to be seen?
Because if I was seen, then I would get that little glimpse of love.
And why is that little glimpse of love important?
Because love is what it's about.
And why is love what it's about? Just feel it. If love is love, then why do you have to go through all of that to get it?
Because that's how a kid thinks.
And why was it important to think like a kid?
Oh, something I am hearing something about that's how the program runs and how
So what did a medicine woman solution teach you? You came here because you wanted to learn of
what love truly is
by
absorbing
what?
myself in love.
By what it's not.
By what it's not, yeah.
But you so got caught up in what it's not. You didn't get the wisdom to appreciate and understand what love is. You stayed in the story. So when you're helping your littles or your shadows, ask them, can you see what love is not? And what do you hear?
Yeah. Yes.
Why is that story important?
It just is not.
And why is it not important?
Because it doesn't have to be stuck in that they don't have to be stuck in that field anymore of I have to behave
Why
their
was
way.
important to behave their way?
Because that way I felt safe.
And why was safety important? There you go. Sit with it. What's the feeling? And if you can't, give me a number at least. Is it 8 or higher? Thumbs up.
Higher.
Thumbs down. Higher. Okay, so let her sit with this. I'm going to just mute her, and I'm going to give her some space. And what's happening is we needed to go to a space in her memory that needed to be resolved. So now she's using a tool to do so. So we're going to go over to, before we get to Davin, as we're waiting, Spirit's telling me to, Angela, are you here? And if you're here, then, now I like this. So Angela says, I'm here, and it's not concentration. It's more about task on hand. And then I gave her some insight. And then she says, I heard because I don't want to deal with things. Now, Angela, are you here? So the hell that you're living is the pacifier for what you don't want to deal with. And I have to wait until she replies. But do you understand what I'm saying, people? We keep creating this digging deeper from the real thing because I can't process this. So I'm going to use this way to process, but it never gets processed. I just create another thing on top of it. So I create addictions on top of this. I create chaos on top of this because I can't process this. The healing tools help you process, and you have to usually heal backwards so that you can release the wisdom. Give her a few more minutes to see if she appears. But notice by writing, notice by asking and healing, it reveals, instead of keep digging deeper, you're starting to swim back to the surface instead of feeling drowned. You're starting to get a gasp of air. So I don't think Angela's there. And if she is, it's this doggone lag. So when you're ready to come back, Amy, or you feel like a ship, just let me know. That will help out. Because I don't think she can turn it on by herself. So let's see what happens.
I can unmute, but I can't turn my camera on.
Okay, that's fine. Here we go. We're going to say ask to start video, and we'll go from there.
There.
So you were like, hey, and then when I asked you why is that security important, you felt a stored memory.
It was didn't want to get some back.
You didn't want to get set back, and that was a nice big fat 10 or more.
I heard 15.
So a 10 plus. And if I said I want you now to focus on the infamy, I'm a bad person, I'm infamy. In the language that your parents would speak, your family would speak, that you're a bad person. If you heard criticism, or you heard compared to, or you heard that they were just in their shit shows and yet made you feel bad, you have infamy. You're known for being a bad. And how, do you feel sad? Where are you at?
No, it's more like I want to growl at them.
Okay.
Because their belief isn't true.
Okay. So notice that, do you have to keep believing by how they acted, the way they presented, and what they said, that you were a bad person? There's something wrong with you.
No,
because
I don't
they
have
couldn't
to
cope, handle, and deal with. So infamy. Now it's moving quickly. And if I said go to L2D, they had you believing that you couldn't do anything without them. Mom's going to take care of it. Dad's going to take care of it. You have to do this. You can't do it alone. And so you're believing that without them, I can't. So part of your suppression, of suppressing the emotions, of ever developing so you can think for yourself and have change for yourself, you were told you have to wait until we say yes. So the permission factor, the authority factor, without you, I can't. So just sitting with that. Why is that important?
Because that's all that little knew. They were, the authority. They knew it all.
Right. So notice how the little was looking, and now the little can look at you. Spirit says that, do you have to believe that you're deficient, that you have to have someone to always do things for you, you could do it for yourself, or because you're afraid of rocking the boat, or have to remain small, you have to do help your little learn to trust you and your higher self. She shifted somewhere there.
They're coming to the realization that, yes, they can trust me and they can trust spirit.
Okay, so help them connect right now. I want you to take and tell me what number you're at.
4.
Okay, you're going to continue to work on that on your own. What I want you to do is I want you to say to your spirit or your littles, whoever your shadows, and say, let's connect our spirit to you. So we connect our spirit, and they're going to do that too. So you're going to connect your spirit to everything and all things and everywhere and all at once. I connect my spirit to my body 100% where it belongs, and they're doing it too. And they can feel the connection, that they don't have to look outside them, but they can look inside them, and they can look to you, this higher self, this soul. And then you're going to have them connect. Say, I connect my littles to my spirit. I connect my shadows to my spirit. Okay? There you go. Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, tell me what that was, because I could see it, but put it in your words because it's your life.
It was like all of a sudden every part of me is now connected to spirit. It's like
good. Now you're going to take, and you're also going to zip up, and you're going to watch all of your echoes. You know how you take a mirror and you turn it just right and you can see forever? All of yours is going to zip up. You're going to get connect here, do it again, and then you all are going to copy and mirror each other this way. Get your giggles on, chin up. And then you are going to work with that part of yourself for just a moment. You think within, like, you need to be the witness. You need to communicate with the child part of you. And what I would like to write, oh, where's it at? Oh, here it is. Angela says, thank you, Brenda, for breaking it down with Amy like that. I have a better look at how to get into my core better. You know, so she needed to
that's awesome.
She says, I'm now at a 3, which is absolutely wonderful. And you didn't interrupt. You have, because Spirit kept telling me I needed to keep going with Amy. And I believe it was for you. I'm just creating more for me to heal out. Now look at this statement. This is your fear, your ego, your separated self from spirit that's telling you, why bother? And I'm going to say with that statement, how much of it is true. And you're going to say it's 9, 10, or 3 or 2. You look at that statement, look at the feel. And then I want you to go to left wrist, second position, nice and deep. Left, 2, deep. Okay. And as you do that, I want you to take that number you came with that statement and just sit with it. Now, Amy, why even bother doing healing? It's just going to create more healing out issues.
The thing is with healing, there's many different layers. It's like peeling an onion. And some layers are thicker than others and some are thinner, but eventually you get to that root, and once you're able to pluck that root out, you feel more free.
So what's
You're
the
able
voice
to
sounding?
do.
What's the voice? It's not okay. When you hear that statement of how your voice would tell you why bother, as that negative or positive,
That's negative.
and that's probably below 500, correct?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's
Probably
based
two.
with a feeling that's negative to love.
Mhm.
Is that your master?
No,
No, God
no,
is.
that's your survival mindset trying to make logical sense of something that there is no logic to.
Right. Okay. So now you need to look at, do you want your pain and suffering to have the voice that's to look at your soul and tell your soul how to act and tell your higher self how to act? Or
No,
can you look as your spirit and say, wait a minute, do I need to believe that?
no, we
Does
don't
your
need to
issues
believe
have
the
to be in
ego.
charge? Right.
No, they
Do you?
don't. Mm-mm,
Good. So
not at
how do you
all.
know and witness to yourself that you had a shift? How did you know the steps? How, when I asked you in that way, why did it work?
It works because the little or the shadow needs to get to the realization that what you're seeking is love, and you have to go through those levels and layers for that part of you to find, oh, it's about love, it's not about the fear or the hate or the grudge or whatever it may be. It's about returning to that love.
Exactly. So when you shift your focus and you became the observer instead of the sufferer, you were able to see on higher level. Yes, you could say bigger picture, a
Yep.
different perspective.
Yep.
Why did you trust yourself when you started to notice, oh God, that stuff's not true? It happened. I'm not denying, but it doesn't have to own me and take my life force.
It doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have to own me. It doesn't have to take my life force. I don't have to believe that story. Like, the other day in the kitchen, I could not figure out why I wanted to cry, but I didn't need to follow that feeling. Grab a tool, EFT, success, oh my God, and change that perspective and realize that no, it's not about what's right here. It's about
Even,
that bigger picture.
right, even to the point, just asking yourself, I was happy and now I'm in a shit show. Hold on. What was I just thinking?
Why? Yeah.
But what was I thinking? Did I just talk to somebody? Did I just watch a TV show? Did I go there and think what they feel so I can have empathy? What happens is you become proxying, and you proxy the idea, you proxy the news, you proxy the fear, and you lose who you are. So just by saying, oh my God, hold on, I'm going to do some of the tribal basics because maybe I don't know them all. Just taking your fingers and drawing from the crotch up, rub, let go. You can take turns with your hands. But that alone holds your pull. And then if you can say, my name is, and my age is right here and now, my name is, and my age is right here and now, you do that 3 times, you're going to pull yourself out of over identifying with matter. You can even do the peanut butter to break up that energy cord. But your issue that I have to think what they think, that RTJP needs to upgrade from being a little kid to your spiritual self. So you don't always have to go, wonder how they feel. By doing that and not, I mean, if you don't know you're going there, you're going to have all heaps of trouble. But if you're using it as a gift, you can say, okay, that's enough. I take my power back. You put yourself back in alignment. You use peanut butter to break the cord, or even Celtic leaf or connecting heaven and earth to fix the figure 8s in your fields. You're going to make a world of difference. So like when Angela starts thinking of DJ, she's going to become DJ, even though DJ's gone. She's going to drop, disconnect, go into it, and then run with it with scissors. run with at the end of the timeline and just keep repeating this hell loop over and over as a tool of how to self-soothe, but never create a soul growth. But by taking and having her do this and deliberately focus on learning how to hear the words, how to measure it, and sit there with it, knowledge, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, why do I need to do that? So you're teaching yourself a new way to feel, a new way to process, a healthier process. How you process is your process. No shame in that. But if you're tired of doing it that way and you feel like you're going nowhere in life, then let your spirit be in charge. Okay. Somebody here on the other side is controlling my mouse because my mouse is over there. Because all of a sudden I seen these hearts pop up, and now the heart or the finger, the cursor, the little thing popped up and says 100%. Now I'm nowhere near it. And so whatever and whoever is here, it could be DJ, is saying 100% of whatever it is it's agreeing with. And if I look, if that's DJ, it's because it's recognizing that Angela, because it's on the screen on YouTube, and it popped up when she said, like DJ said on your show, I don't give myself enough credit. It's true. I know. And then she said, okay. So the sun is hovered. See, a bunch of hearts pop up. And I'm like, how did the hearts come up? And then now it's hovering at 100%. So he is telling you 100%. Now let's heal this shit, because now I understand why he had come into the space. So you've got 1 month of twice a week to really work and hone on yourself and heal. And within that 30 days, you can make a complete difference into your world. It could also be the cat. Doesn't matter. That message is right here. Again, it's on a stable surface way over there, and I'm nowhere near. Oh, it just moved. Say it's moved. It's down at the bottom. 100% it could be. Well, I'm going to take my mouse back. And all right, thank you, Amy, for coming on. We will see you at Tribal tomorrow. Thank you for showing the details, showing the different perspectives, showing that wisdom can make a difference, knowledge. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Right. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, or in a few minutes. Too. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
We can make a difference. Okay. So now, Davin, you had asked a question, but before I get there, I was trying to look at something. Something caught my attention, and that's not it. It really caught my attention, but where am I going to go look for it? Where did it go? I think Autumn wrote something that said, yeah, but you left. Where's that? Oh, here it is. It's like Autumn says, you left them in the USA. And I'm like, what did I leave in the USA? People, things, what? I'm curious now of what that answer was. I was, I'm just curious. Okay, so what was your point there, and help me understand? Okay. Davin, are you here, sweetheart? Thank you very much for waiting, and hopefully you enjoyed the show so far. Oops. Oh, well. There. Is it possible to feel like you're not in control of a situation? Absolutely. I keep asking, why am I doing this? And so if the situation, gotcha. If the situation is, let's say, I'm doing what I don't love. Let's say it's a work. Let's say it's that. So is it possible to feel like you're not in control of the situation? I'm asking, why am I doing this? If you were to, it depends on what you're viewing. So if you're looking and you realize, I have no control over the situation. This can be very helpful because if you're looking, you're like, why am I here? Who told you that that was for you? So there's this one movie called Ghetto Physics. And as she was going to become a law and get her law degree, become a lawyer, I mean, she's really heavy duty. The threat of payment, of getting assistance so that she can finish to get that degree, she's all upset. And then she come to the conclusion of, wait a minute, do I really want to be a lawyer? Maybe this issue, this severe issue, is a blessing in disguise. So she's thinking about it, and she's like, where did I learn it? She remembers in school, somebody says, oh, you'd make a great lawyer. Really? Okay. She's like, I have been fulfilling other people's dreams about me and what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to believe. But what if I don't want to anymore? What if? So in this case, if you have something that you were told to suppress, okay, so it's something I'm noticing I'm doing with an online friend. If you're not present, then you will follow suggestions. If you're not present with who you are in this moment and what you feel, then you may do it because that is, I'm used to other people telling me what to do. So stepping up, if I go a little bit further and say, okay, Davin, it is something I've noticed I'm doing with an online friend. So do you feel like, so why does it, to the question she has, it is this okay. Oh, this is a word that I have such an issue saying. Thank you, Spirit. I can say it. Momentous, monotonous. So if we look up the word monotonous, normally I have my word there, but in my phone, but I can't do that. So if we type in start chat, oh good Lord, monotonous, I think I spelled it wrong. Usually describes a tedious, flat feeling when everything, work, routines, even curious conversations feel like it's on a loop without any flavor or variety. Are you in a monotonous situation, a monotonous thing? And if you are doing, and they're highly always suggesting, and you're doing, and then you suggest, but it never is what you want to do, then why are you with those? I guess. Okay, so you need to be more present. So does it feel flat? Does it feel like routine? Does it feel? So when you said the question, which gotta go all the way back, unless my moderator can pin it. Oh, good Lord. Where is it? Methinks I lost it. Yes. Okay. I'm hoping that if your soul is saying, I don't want to do this anymore, and you're questioning, is it possible to feel like you're not in control of the situation? It may be because you weren't present. And now it's like, I don't know if I'm not in control. Well, how do you want to be controlled? Is it important to you for them to always be in control? Is it important that you're in control? But if you're asking, why am I doing this? Then you are just probably following the leader, or Simon Says. The question is, what is it that Davin wants to do? And if you want friends, are you paying a price? But if you got somebody that's always leading, then you're saying that when I'm younger, I was always led. Now I want to lead. So, Davin, you can easily start to say, I'm stuck in the longing stage. Do you feel like you're longing but never get? You're longing. So if we were to say longing as a feeling, I'm not even sure if I truly want friends. I have some trouble making them anyway. Well, I think a lot of us do, but we have to line up to our spiritual values. I've lined up when spirit just takes people out and brings people in. But longing is a bittersweet ache that sits somewhere between a memory and a desire. It's waiting. I'm longing. But it is an ego thing. It doesn't ever let you be aligned to what you truly want. And it can tell you that you're not in alignment with your soul. So it could be an ache. And if you could measure that, then you can begin to heal out that you always have to show up that way. Because if I said, where did you learn what longing is? And it was about 4 years old. I long for this. But in the meantime, everybody's telling you what to do and how to do it and everything else. And you're longing for a friend or you're longing to do what you want, longing. But you are never going to have until you get out of the position of the longing. So how you know longing will always make you chase your dreams of what you want. You will never, because your GPS says you have to long. So if you can feel that longing, then you can start healing it, measuring it out at R3S. You are addicted to longing. So once you do R3S and you're going, okay, I'm longing. In this case, the words would be the statement that you put. And then as you're healing the longing and you're looking and you're feeling, you may hear statements. Write those down. Why is that important to me? Hold it again. Keep asking, keep writing, keep asking, keep holding. And the feel of, like, you started off with a 10 and it may have only came down to an 8. You wrote it down and that's a 10. And then that came down and then eventually it's all going to hit those levels so that you can really pull it out. It's a deeper way of healing when you do parts integration with this tool. Does that make sense? We got to get you to the other side of the equation where you can make a healthier choice for yourself. Okay. A little. Give me the words that would help. You need to heal monotonous first. You are so used to the monotonous stage. So you're going to go left wrist, second position deep. And I want you to feel and just be monotonous. How do you know monotonous? Does it show up here? Does it show up there? Keep healing. Every time it shows up, measure it. Monotonous. It's serving you right now. Okay. The problem of when it serves is it'll keep serving. So, and then Angela says, I just heard, why create what doesn't serve you? Oh my God. Perfect, Angela. Keep going. Keep going. So heal monotonous first, L2D, then go over to R3D, longing. You may not understand longing until you understand the staleness of monotony. Does that make sense? And thank you for waiting, Deb, and I appreciate it. Good to hear from you. All right. Anybody else? You are welcome. So, Angela, do you feel different than you did before? Where you started is a parameter. When you use the tool, you're changing all the information, everything here, and then you're here with your consciousness looking. This is your after. You have to become this spirit that uses awareness. Okay, so tell me how you know things are different. Jan says, I also learned that the swelling in my toe was actually an ingrown toenail. Oh, good Lord. Well, good. And you got it taken care of, yes? That would be painful. So, which toe? Which foot? Because metaphysically, that can mean a lot of things. Your body is speaking to you. Right bunion, I had the surgery on. Ooh. So the big toe, So I think that the right is masculine. So it's how you use your way to be creative. And if you're ingrown and it isn't able to express its nature, then you are stifling you just, well, look at the reading. It's monotonous. You can't be creative. You're not in charge of it. So the body is expressing how you use your yin and yang. So as soon as Angela can tell us, where is she on it? Now I'm going to see if I can open up. I don't know if I can do it fast enough, and it could be in several parts. Yeah, I also feel I have no creativity right now too. See, it's all playing out a story. So begin where I told you and see if you can take and go further by removing the monotony, get the cells to stop producing it, take out. So when you're healing, you're taking out the key of monotony. Okay. Right now, your cell says, I'm supposed to be monotony. This is when I'm monotonous. This is what I'm supposed to be. And then you take it out, it changes. Then you go in and you heal longing. Now, the cells aren't supposed to be longing. I'm supposed to be longing. You take that out and your body can start to return. So what does this mean? If you hold and use the tool, you get to change the direction of how you get to create, because your power is not into the thing that is like cemented in stone. No, you're breaking that up. You're totally breaking that up. All right, so Angela, we just would like to finish up with you. How do you know your before and your after? And, you're probably still going, but, kind of know where you're at. Can you feel the difference? You're doing the work. So you're learning, Devin, that you're learning how to ground yourself and find a purpose and a direction in your life, okay? And if you understand that the right big toe has a lot to do with no programs, they're having trouble generating life support and planning and implementing these strategies and tactics, you're having trouble with that. They're feeling like they just don't have the internal sub routines to pull life's requirements off. But you really do. The surgery is hoping we don't have to do another surgery for the big toenail. Okay, so and again, why would this? Because the yang is suppressed. Your yang is suppressed. To help her get her yang going again, they said that you need to do R3D, right wrist, third position D, because your body is in, I have to suppress this to survive the environment. I have to suppress myself and my ideas and things for the environment. So it's a survival thing, R3D, self-preservation, okay? And what's my thing tell me? I need to get up and move? No, it might have. I don't see it. Okay, so, okay. Yes, only came in one pair. Oh, so she's answering. Again, not seeing that. So Angela says, love it. Okay, so before I was feeling this or meh, and now with the healing, I feel better. And do you want any of the pain back? So that becomes the question to to Angela. So when you look at the nail problem with the right big toe, resource generation problem, they're having difficulties regarding their ability to generate life, sustenance, and intention manifestation resources due to complexity of anxiety or excessive willfulness. You haven't learned particular levels of yourself yet because it's always been ingrained with other people, if that makes sense. All right. Don't think we're going to hear from Angela. And so Davin, ingrown toenail is self-squashing. They're struggling with the worry and guilt. Do you have worry and guilt? That if I don't make the right move forward, I don't know how to make the right move forward. They're afraid to take their own direction in life. So you take where your guidance. So you have power avoidance, your identity squashing, growth suppressing and turning inward. So it's like, okay, with my family and this and that, I have to grow away would be, if I did do this, I betray my family. Again, you can hold right wrist, third position deep for that. Okay. All right. We will move on from here and double check. So tomorrow, and again, if you'd like to join Tribe, Tribal is a way to go. You get 4, and if there's, depending on the months, you may get 5. But you get to learn about life. You get to heal specific things that can pertain to your life and to others. And it is meant to help you grow and to become more of a spiritual human. So again, it's only $42 a month. I don't know how much it comes out to, if it's just with 4 weeks. I promise an hour, but I usually give you 2 or 3 because there's so much, and your voice is important, your healing is important. But if you want to participate, if people don't want to participate, you could just watch it later, okay, and follow what's going along, with it. And when you do come, you don't have to have your camera on. You can type, or you can have your mic on, however it goes. But you can also participate to get the most out of it. You get to choose. This isn't about comparison or competition or favoritism or any of that. This is about you, and to deciding that if $10.50 a week, depending on if you're doing it, just breaking down $42, are you worth it? Is it worth your investment? Now, if you have the soul's urge, it would be. If you don't have the soul's urge, then you may not understand it, but you can also learn more. But if you're totally not into spirituality, then you would never even think about this. So I encourage you to wake up, understand your soul's urge, and start to listen and how to become a spiritual human. So Angela must have gotten off, but by her report, we can see that she was at 10. She got it down to a 3, and then she's going on saying she heard the process. She watched the thing with Amy's going through, which gave her more knowledge, and she ended up saying the words, love it. So we can tell she had a before and after. Okay. I want to say thank you for being here today. And so I appreciate it. So again, are you on this reluctant healer's journey? If you're always here, you can train yourself by healing to say, no, I want to learn on a whisper. And if you have to jump here, it's only like for a quick live experience, and then you're quickly back here. You're learning to operate how to become a spiritual human. And so what resist will constantly persist, and that'll drive you nuts. But if you can become and heal this out, those chemical peptides, you can become in charge. And it's up to you. It's up to you. How do you want to participate in your world? So hashtag resolve to evolve, hashtag heal instead of deal, hashtag feel it to heal it. And there's many more, but no matter how you start and end your day, hashtag thank you, Spirit. You're already blessed in your whole, so stay blessed and happy healing. Okay.